everybody, it's Laura with Gnome Designs. Today I'm going to show you how I prep a cup. I picked one of these up at Walmart. They were clearance, so I wanted to show everybody how I get these ready to go. So basically the first thing that I do is if I'm not going to paint this black, which if I'm going to paint this black it'll pretty much cover up all this, all these designs that it came with, which as you can tell is pretty bright and colorful. Black doesn't seem to have a problem. Other darker colors probably be fine too, but with the lighter colors like white, all this will show through even with a primer, unless you do lots and lots of coats. So I want to show you how I prep this. So the first thing that I do is I sand this as much as I can and try to get these dark colors and this gloss off of there, and that'll also help adhere the paint once it gets spray painted. It'll help adhere the paint to the cup as well. Anyway, so let's get started. I'm going to pause the video for a minute while I do my sanding, just because it's very loud. But what I usually use is one of these hand sanders, and this is, I believe, 80 grit. See if it says on here, I forgot to check, but I believe this is 80 grit. And so all I do is I use this sander. You can use a sanding block, and this will vibrate and make a lot of noise, so I'm not gonna do that while a video is running, but speed that up for you without the sound. And so basically you're just gonna go around the cup and sand it down. Okay, so I've gotten a lot of the paint off, and mostly concentrating on the pinks and the blues. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna wipe it off with alcohol. You can use 91% alcohol. It's a little bit in short supply, so what I'm using right now is denatured alcohol. Just a word to the wise, it will eat through your gloves. So I'm going to take these gloves off while I do this. It's a solvent, so if you have any skin irritations, you might have some issues doing this, but you need to find gloves that the alcohol won't eat through, or use something that won't eat through the gloves other than this. This doesn't bother me, so I'm going to use it. Looks like I've still got some spots up here at the top, so I'm not too worried about these yellow pieces because I'm painting it white. What I'm more concerned with is the blues and the pinks and the purples and stuff like that, because when you go to spray paint this, it bleeds right through the primer, this color, or the dark colors do anyway, if you're using white. And this particular cup needs to have a white coat for what I'm doing, so it is getting sanded down. Alright, I'm going to hit this again now that I can see more of the cup and some spots that I missed. And then I'm just going to keep repeating that process until I get down to the silver, which as you can see is already pretty well scuffed up from sanding it already, which is great for the primer coat. Okay, we're going to do this one more time with the denatured alcohol. I just sanded it one more time just to get the spots that I thought needed it. I'm not too concerned about down here in the bottom of the cup. I usually put a decal down there to how to take care of it. But if you're going to be finishing off this part of it, I would recommend trying to get as much of that paint out as you can if you need that part to be white. And the nice thing about the denatured alcohol is if you have just a small spot and you don't want to get the sander out again, you can rub just a little bit, or you can get some acetone too, and clean it up. But right now I'm just going to wipe it down with this alcohol, and it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with this. Yeah, this should come out a nice solid white when it gets spray painted now. And it won't take a lot of paint to get there. Alright, and as you can see, there's a bunch of dust in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to rinse that out and be right back. Okay, so I cleaned up my area, got the dust. I removed the freezer paper that I used underneath just to get the dust out of here. And so I wanted to show you something. I had been previously using Vaseline to try to keep my the inside of my cups clean, and I was looking online, and I know that they sell basically lids with holes in the middle. I think they're silicone or whatever. They actually make lids to cover the inside of your tumbler so that when you spray paint it or when you do your epoxy or whatever, it actually keeps spray paint and epoxy from going inside your tumbler. So I came up with this relatively cheap idea, and it's probably been done before, but I haven't seen it. So I'm going to show you how I do this. So I'm going to go ahead and stick the tumbler holder that I'm going to use for this particular tumbler. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there. And this is I'm mostly using this just to hold on to it while I spray paint it. And what I'm going to do is, looks like there's some stuff still on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this styrofoam cup. I got like 20 of these for $1. And I'm going to show you how I use this. So it needs to fit. The purpose of what I'm doing is actually taking the styrofoam cup and I'm going to slide it down inside here. But I also want to be able to remove it once the epoxy goes on. But so what I'm going to do is first I'm going to cut the bottom. And if you've ever seen the tumbler covers or the lid covers or whatever, they're hollow in the middle, or there's a hole in the middle. So that's basically the kind of effect that I'm going for. And just so you know, well, actually, let me just show you. So what I do is I kind of do a test fit. So it's going to go on here like this. Okay? So I want to look here and see how much cup do I need to keep. So I have a line now, and I know where the cup is gonna fit inside this. But then once you put this in, once you put your tumbler holder in, it's gonna take up some room. So what I do is I just cut it, just like so. With an X-Acto knife, you can use, actually I think I have let me grab it. I have a regular old kitchen knife here too. You can use that if that's all you have. Do a nice cut. Actually, it's a little better than an X-Acto knife. And there you go. Now you have a cover. Okay? So now you don't have to put any tape or anything like that inside your cup. You don't have to do Vaseline or anything. Hopefully you won't get spray paint up inside there. But I feel like that's a pretty good barrier. And what I also do is I like to squish it down. That's why I got the styrofoam cups, because it gets a nice seal in there. It doesn't come off very easily for when I'm spray painting this. So it's hard for me to spray paint and hold the phone, but what I'm going to do is stop the video for just a minute. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the whole the whole process of me spray painting this, but just to give you a general idea, because I don't like to spray paint in the house, but just to give you a general idea, what I do is a short burst, short control burst. You can go at it this way, you can go at it this way. I recommend that you wear a glove for that, just in case, especially if you're new at it, because you'll end up with freckles like me. I was spray painting some black earlier, and even with a glove on, you'll end up with speckles on you. You don't want to wear clothes that you care about, especially if the wind's blowing and it all of a sudden gusts in the wrong direction. So I'm just going to do a couple of bursts here just to show you how I do it. So it's very quick, short bursts, about, I don't know, 6 to 10 inches away from the cup, and you just very lightly, just like that. Okay? And you do that all around the cup. You can also go this way, especially if you're trying to get down here. And the nice thing about this is it gives it a nice seal. Of course, if you watch more of the videos, you'll see what we're going to do with this cup, and there's a way to handle the top of the cup as well. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop the video and finish this outside so I don't get spray paint all over my studio. Alright, so this is the first coat of spray paint, and I want to let this dry really well. I'm noticing that it's a little thin in areas, and I'm also noticing, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but there's a little bit of pink coming through here, a little bit of yellow coming through here. So I'm going to go over this one more time, and for what I'm doing with this cup, it's not a huge big deal if that shows through. Doing something that is not going to make a huge big deal about it, but if I had been, this would be a problem. If you want a solid white, so you want to make sure you get all of the colors off of the cup as much as possible, or you can base paint a darker color over it. So you could do black or a dark blue or whatever, and then paint it white. It would take you more coats to do that, but it would help keep the colors from bleeding through. Alright, and that's it. Okay, and we're back with the second coat, and I am pretty happy with this. There's still a couple spots that want to shine through there, but like I said, for what we're doing, it's not going to matter a whole lot. So if you want to see what we do with this cup, like, subscribe, come back and check us out. Have a great day. Namaste.